Good morning and welcome to Rapid Dawn. It is a trendy Tuesday right here in the beautiful city. My name is Cynthia and it's so amazing to know that you were there watching us. It's 6 minutes gone past 7 and it's our day where we get to keep you updated with all of the things happening that you probably have missed, and I'm glad to have you. I'm definitely here with Ugochukwu. How are you?
I'm very well. Yes, it's our daily dose of positive vibes, positivity, good energy. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
Come on, you do. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. It's so beautiful to be here.
Anyway, it is a whole lot of things have been happening on the scene, and it was crazy to hear that Cynthia Morgan was arrested yesterday for something that has to do with cyber stalking, harassment. Anyway, it's a trendy conversation, so we will get into that. But first of all, I think our health is very important because some of the terrible stories we hear, they're not very good for our health. So let's take care of our health first, because health is wealth.
Absolutely.
Up next is health and wellness. All right, welcome back. Benefits of keeping your home clean, and I mean, even the Bible says cleanliness is next to godliness. So what's that?
This is cleanliness. What is next to cleanliness?
This is cleanliness, this is godliness.
No, this is cleanliness, this is godliness. They're next to each other.
And so this side, they're not next. It's only when they're this side that they're next. This is even the left-hand side. So what's your point? Right-hand side. You cannot keep God on the left hand.
You're impossible.
You cannot keep God on the left hand.
Listen, gents and ladies. It's
Gentle ladies.
Gents and ladies. It's basically, you know, I had to pull off that video because every day we've been talking about things that have to do with nutrition and what you eat and all of that. I think it was important to pull up something that had to do with your general well-being, and being in a clean and well-arranged space can help you function mentally as a person.
Yes.
It can go a long way to help you organize your thoughts, organize yourself as a person, and have a more organized schedule generally. But if you stay in a space where everything is upside down, the bed is not where it's supposed to be, your cup is under the bed, your cream is somewhere in the kitchen,
oh no,
your plate is somewhere in the toilet.
Haba now.
Some people do
Haba
like that,
now.
honestly. Yeah. your brush is on the table,
or you don't flush your toilets.
You know, these are the issues. It's very important that you take these things very seriously.
Your cleanliness should cut across board.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think basically the video speaks for itself, and I'm sure you must have gleaned the lessons therein.
Yes, that's good. So before we move on to the runway this morning, let's look at something about frying fish. Do you know how to fry fish? Let's check this out.
Sounds very much like flying fish.
Okay, so what's that?
She said I should give her a thumbs up.
Okay, so in as much as that is a good method, right? I mean, some of us still like our fish per board first.
For the first time.
Before frying.
You're not going to find me arguing with you. For the first time, I feel like you just took the words out of my mouth. Yeah.
Oh, God, say your own. I didn't take any words from
Honestly,
your
I find your view on this absolutely profound. Honestly. 'Cause
on fish?
yes. Why? Why?
Why what?
Why no cook the fish?
No, like I said, there are different styles to this fish thing, right? Some persons fry it directly. Some of us still like to at least boil, even if it is for 2 minutes at least. Let it just, there's a different, most people keep saying, oh, there's no difference when you boil it a bit before frying. But I think that there's actually a difference, because when you boil it first, it holds together, at least like the inside, because when it's fried, it just looks like the inside is still raw, and you still smell that. When you open the inside, you still smell that that fish
Scent. Aroma, right?
That fishy. But then when you boil it first and then you fry it, it tends to mellow everything down. So, but yeah, I mean, if you're a frying person, thumbs up.
Yeah, and then this is coming from somebody with years of experience, you know, in culinary arts and intercontinental cuisines. So, I mean, when she is dishing out information like this, I mean, you should be jotting things down. So thank you so much for that very, very profound expose on frying fish.
I don't blame you, Sha. But however, I think I will still try this one. I mean, in terms of putting the
only thing I like about it is is that the brown or golden color now?
Yes.
Yeah, I find that really alluring.
And not having to stain my pot, actually.
Yes,
my
that is also
yes,
good.
I like that part. I like it, actually. Anyway, that is it on the recipe this morning. Something that you could try this weekend. If you have plenty oil, just try it out, and you probably will like it. Let's now move on to the runway. Let's see what we have on the runway.
My name is Ima Ehumadu, aka
My name is DK, aka Mama Chinedu.
Keep watching Rapid TV.
You are watching Rapid TV.
Shout out to Rapid TV.
Hey, Rapid TV, Carigo.
The biggest, the finest, the only Rapid TV.
Rapid TV.
Yes, keep watching.
Don't go nowhere. Don't touch that down.
Keep watching Rapid TV.
This is me giving a rapid response to Rapid TV.
All right, welcome back. That was Mohit, the band, Don Jazzy and Snoop Dogg. Like, it's been a long time. Kudos, guys. That song, like, I'm so endowed. That song is for people that are endowed, though. If you're not endowed, just don't sing it.
Okay.
What? What is
Congratulations to all the endowed.
Of course, you could be endowed brain-wise, you could be endowed anyhow, but there has to be an endowment.
I mean,
anyway.
I want to be endowed with money, with lots of money.
Your own are money, money.
What else?
Do you know what they say about money?
It is the problem. It is also the solution.
That's not what they said about money.
It is the root of all evil.
Exactly. Not just no, get it right. Not just the root of all evil, the love. And you have that love. So I fear that you might just,
my dear, I don't just have the love for the root. I have love for the forest. Give me the forest. That's what I want.
Yes. You want the forest of all evil. No problem. Your desires shall be granted. How they call it? How they to do it again? Assure. All right, so let's check out some of the big stories on our national dailies this beautiful morning. Let's see what we have for you on our national dailies this morning. Okay, starting with the Punch. Electricity tariff hike. This has become like an everyday conversation now since the news broke out. So federal government convenes meeting as Labour threatens indefinite protests. Federal government to address Labour complaints. Protesters storm NERC block discourse offices in states. Okay, we also have EFCC indict Sirika brother in new 19 billion naira fraud. Let's move above the masthead of the punch. Above. All right, federal government may need supplementary budget to pay minimum wage. This is coming from the IMF. And CBN may intervene as naira slides to 1,478 naira to $1. And there's something that has been tickling the fancy of lots of political fans. You know, Atiku will be initiate alliance talks ahead of 2027 polls. Well, as at yesterday evening, they said there were no much details of the meeting between.
Well, it was a private. It was a private affair. So,
how are we so sure that the conversation was about the polls? What if they just went to have a good wine and nice small chops?
Well, that is very unlikely considering the history between both men.
Anyway, let's
political history.
Let's move on to the next paper.
Vanguard is up next. Let's start with stories above the masthead of the Vanguard. Banks caught borrowing from CBN by 44%, 12.2 trillion naira, whereas to probe governance in last 4 years. More drama unfolding in Rivers State. 10 billion naira airport contract fraud. AFCC arraigned Sirika brother and company today. Tinubu directs mandatory procurement of CNG-powered vehicles by MDAs. And we have the big story on the Vanguard this morning. Tariff hike, Labour protest, disconnects NERC, TCN, Disco's offices, says privatization of power sector colossal failure, demands complete reversal. We've heard your concerns, NERC chairman says. We'll go back to drawing board, federal government tells Labour. Where is this drawing board? By now, I thought the drawing board would have been full of so many drawings.
It's so sad.
There's always a call to go back to the drawing board.
If we keep going back to the drawing board, that means the last people that went there, what was that means? By now, there shouldn't have been space on the drawing board. Anyway, let us start with, still the big story there, electricity tariff hike, organized labor grounds, Disco, NERC, nationwide. Governor Baseki urges devolution of power, says Nigeria's current design has expired. That is there. Let's go down a bit. Enugu seals 100 billion naira deal to revive palm product firm. You will find that on page 26 of the Sun, on the Sun newspaper. We also have something, Fubara moves to probe Wike. Okay. And we also have major speculation. Can we move? Okay. Tinubu backs. Okay, let's just move on to the next paper.
All right. The big story here, FEC adopts CNG-powered vehicles for ministries and agencies. Federal government targets less use of petrol to stem rising cost of living and boost economy. We also have INEC plans new voter registration in Edo and Ondo. LPs Abure at meeting. Restructuring of NYC for future challenges starts. Finidi mounts saddle, vows rejig of Super Eagles. NFF unveils head coach. And those are some of the stories on this National Daily as of now. Let's move on to the next paper.
This should be Tribune. Labour pickets NERC, Disco's offices nationwide over electricity tariff hike, demands complete reversal of power sector privatization. And one killed as gunmen evade community, burn cars, houses. And we also have the riders, the invaders, making demands from Olomu Oil Palm Management want managerial, am I saying position? 25%. Okay, Nigeria's current design has expired. We must redesign to survive. I think that should be coming from Governor Obaseki of Edo State. Let's now move on to sports.
Okay, we have a Punch Sports Extra this morning. Watford won't renew Dennis' deal. Double delight from Mboma. United make urgent repairs at Old Trafford. PSG to save £200 million from Pape exit. Don't owe him wages. And that's coming from who now? To the NFF. Don't owe him wages. Stakeholders, well, that's a statement to the NFF after Finidi's unveiling as Eagles coach. Those are some of the stories on Punch Sports Extra this morning. We also have our work to build winning team Finidi. Man United cleared to sign Araujo for 100 million. Well, that's actually a good buy if you ask me. Chukwueze's injury is grade 1, out for rest of the season. Not a good story for the Umuahia-born player. Arsenal put 7 players up for sale. Interesting. There's also a story on Victor Boniface, Premier League winner, to get £62.3 million. Sometimes talking about football money, I find it really unfair. I feel like I'm on the wrong side of the business.
Unfortunately, your bones are too strong.
I'm on the wrong side of the business. They should be the ones talking about this, and then I'll do the playing. You need to see me on the pitch of play.
Which leg? I keep asking that question. Which legs?
You know, these things are not judged like that.
Anyway, the stories on our national dailies.
Quite interesting.
It seems like it's almost the same thing every time. We are either talking about tariff, or we're talking about minimum wage, or we're talking about the situation of the country where things are getting high. Don't forget that there was a story there on the dollar to Naira, 1,478. I mean, with such an amount, things are not going to reduce in the market anytime soon.
When we saw the depreciation of the dollar consistently, and then we had the Central Bank of Nigeria selling dollar to BDCs, the question on the lips of lots of financial experts and economists was, how long would the CBN be able to sustain such a measure in their bid to give the Naira to dollar equation a bit of stability? But apparently their concerns are now beginning to surface. Because tell me why that we've had, you know, an increase in recent times, an appreciation in the Naira to dollar equation, because some of the measures that were adopted by the CBN, of course, lots of analysts, like I said, were able to identify limitations in terms of its sustainability. And I think that is what has brought us to where we are. I think the CBN needs to look at measures that its effects are going to be long lasting, beyond 2 or 3 months. How can we over time achieve a better situation for the Naira in the global market? And basically that's what it is. Politically, there's also a couple of things that are happening which political watchers or people who are inclined to politics find interesting. For instance, the private meeting between Atiku and Peter Obi. And earlier I made reference to the political history between both of them. He was running mate to Atiku in 2019. Unfortunately, that bromance could not continue in the last elections. We had Peter Obi contesting on the platform of the Labour Party, and then Atiku on the platform of the PDP, as usual. Now that there are talks of a supposed reconciliation, does it mean that we're about to see some sort of merger between both candidates and their political parties? And also the crisis in Rivers State comes to mind, where it looks like a situation of the current governor, Siminalayi Fubara. It does look like, it's a situation where he is trying to bite the fingers that fed him. How well will he be able to manage this whole situation? And now he's talking about probing the last 10 years. And of course, we know who was at the helm in Rivers State in the last decades, talking about Nyesom Wike. Does he really want to toe that line of probing Nyesom Wike? What necessitated the probe? Yes, there's been a lot of political drama going on between the two of them, and which has even affected the legislative government in Rivers State. Are we going to see the end of this? What is the presidency's stand on this whole thing? Where does he stand? Does he stand with a Siminalayi Fubara, or does he stand with a Wike in this whole issue? Remember, in Kano State, we also saw a similar situation where the current governor, Abba Yusuf, has basically made life tough for Abdullahi Ganduje, since he became governor, with lots of probes, with lots of, court actions and all of that. So it does look like something that's going to linger for quite some time. But then again, let's keep our fingers crossed and see how events unfold.
All right, that's interesting there. We'll go on a very short break, and when we come back, sports will be here.
My name is Ima Ehumadu, aka Labista.
My name is DK, aka Mamachinedu.
Keep watching Rapid TV.
You are watching Rapid TV.
Shout out to Rapid TV.
Hey, Rapid TV, Carigo.
The biggest, the finest, the only Rapid TV.
Rapid TV.
Yes, keep watching.
Don't go nowhere. Don't touch that dial.
Keep watching Rapid TV. This is me giving a rapid response to Rapid TV.
All right, good morning. Thank you for joining us on Rapid Sports this morning. Today is the Trendy Tuesday edition of the show, where promises, of course, to be fun-filled and absolutely breathtaking. Well, on the front burner, Affinity George unveiled as coach of the Super Eagles. Yesterday was a 6-goal thriller at Villa Park. Liverpool having to surrender a 2-goal lead to draw 3-all with Aston Villa. And, of course, it was really frenetic. Jurgen Klopp having quite a time in his final season at Anfield. The Fora Italico is still on in Rome. Talking about the Italian Open, we'll have the round of 16 finalists for the men's event and the quarter finalists for the women's event. I'll talk about that in just a moment, and of course all of the other trending issues in the world of sports. Without further getting the lily and without much ado, let's get on to the main event, and let's start off this morning with what transpired yesterday at the media center of the Moshood Abiola Stadium here in Abuja. As coach of the Super Eagles, Finidi George, former Nigeria international, was unveiled by the Nigeria Football Federation. And well, in the aftermath of that, President of the NFF, Ibrahim Gusau, has assured that newly appointed Super Eagles coach Finidi George will be provided with a house in the area of his choice and a driver to ensure smooth operation of his job. He made these three promises during the official unveiling of Finidi George. Well, after serving as an assistant to Portuguese coach Jose Peseiro, Finidi was appointed as the substantive coach of the Eagles last month, beating the likes of Emmanuel Lemunike, US men's under-19 coach Michael Nsi, and among other candidates to the job. Well, he will be working with ex-international Daniel Amokachi as assistant number 1 and Benjamin James as assistant number 2. We also have Olatunji Barua as goalkeeper trainer, while Chima Onyike will serve as fitness trainer, and Tok Mehmet Ostok as match analyst. And these are the ones who will be helping Finidi George to do his job. A very quick look at some of those assistants. Amokachi was a former teammate of Finidi and a key member of the Eagles class of 1994 who won the AFCON title that year and reached the round of 16 in the derby appearance at the World Cup. The Bull, as he's fondly called by his admirers, just concluded his CAF A coaching license in Morocco. He was also assistant coach to late Stephen Okechukwu when Nigeria last won the AFCON in 2013 in South Africa before cameo as team's head coach in 2014. Mokachi also previously handled the country's under-23 Eagles as well as the Chan Eagles. He's been at Nasarawa United as a coach as well. And then talking about Benjamin James, he grew up in Ajegunle, Lagos, a ruthless defender during his playing days and was nicknamed the Police of Senegal. He was capped 11 times by Nigeria. He played for Plateau United, Shooting Stars, and the defunct Stationery Stores before he moved to Italy, where he stayed for Catania. Well, after a season there, he joined Karl Zeiss Jena in Germany in 1997. Also played for Meinheim and SC Weitergarten before he retired in 2003. James has for over a decade been at German Bundesliga club Hoffenheim as an assistant coach of the youth team. And then talking about the goalkeeper trainer Olatunji Barua, he was one of the surviving backroom staff of Jose Peseiro. He was drafted in to replace Ike Shoromu, currently the goalkeeper trainer for Nasarawa United, as well as the national under-20 team. And then talking about the fitness trainer, that's Chima Onyike, who was born in Zest, Holland, to a Nigerian father. He's 48 years old and holds a degree in sports science, and professionally played for several Dutch clubs before retiring. He began his work as a personal trainer, and his impressive client list includes the likes of Roy McKay and Alexandra Kasakov. As a club fitness trainer, he's worked with Anzi Makshkala, Pierre Oke, VfB Stuttgart, and William II. Well, the last on the list is Mehmet Ostok, who is the match analyst. There's not a lot about him, but he's an expert in prototype match analysis software. So these are the 5 assistants who will be working with coach Finidi George. And earlier, of course, I did say that the NFF drummed up a lot of support for Finidi George, saying that yes, there were lots of candidates for the job, lots of people who had put in their hat into the ring, but it was basically the glass house listening to the yearnings of Nigerians to have an indigenous coach, and then going for Finidi, who has a track record of success, especially when you look at his playing days as a player for Nigeria and for Ajax and a couple of other top clubs, Real Sociedad in Spain. And then you have to also look at the fact that during his first stint as coach of Enyimba, he did win the Nigeria Premier Football League title, which is not a mere feat here in Nigeria. Well, he was also assistant to coach Jose Peseiro. So these are some of the factors that the NFF looked at and said, come on, this guy has been around for a while. We've seen him do this, and why not give him the job and see how well he can tinker the Super Eagles to victory. Well, of course, his first assignment will be to qualify the Super Eagles for the 2026 World Cup, starting off with the qualifiers involving the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Bafana Bafana of South Africa, as well as the Squirrels of Benin Republic. Well, it was actually a brief ceremony where Gusau said a house will be provided for Finidi George in an area of his choice here in the FCT, as well as a personal driver and a car. And then for the assistant coaches, they are going to be paid on invitational basis. So if we have a match to prosecute, the assistant coaches come in and then they are paid for those matches or those assignments that they have been invited for. Yes, it's only Finidi George who has the luxury of staying on, and we hear it's a 1-year contract that you know, he has as coach of the side. Well, details regarding what his pay is were not exactly made public. It's basically speculations. Some people are saying $45,000. Some people are saying $60,000. Well, we're not really sure. We cannot authoritatively confirm the exact figures on the contract paper that was signed by Finidi George and the Nigeria Football Federation. But what we can tell you is that at the moment, Finidi George, of course, is the man who will now take over the helm officially as coach of the Super Eagles. So he's come out to say that his first assignment will be to secure qualification for the 2026 World Cup, and demanding unwavering commitment from his top players as the team aims to get their faltering qualifying campaign back on track. And well, he did recognize the importance of a strong start. Remember, Nigeria are currently third in the qualifying group with just 2 points from as many games, while South Africa sits second with 3 points. Let's just keep our fingers crossed. Let's be optimistic. Well, for me, I don't think it's a bad choice going for Finidi. We've seen him achieve relative success with one of the finest football outfits here in Nigeria, Enyimba International. Anyone who has the capacity to manage an Enyimba, I believe, should also do well on the national scene. Yes, he's going to be having at his disposal lots of international stars who've seen football beyond just playing at for Nigeria. Some of them are the likes of Osimhen, the likes of Kelechi Iheanacho, Samuel Chukwueze. You know, these are people who've even played in the UEFA Champions League, and with lots of fantastic achievements. Victor Osimhen has won the Italian Scudetto with Napoli. I know. So when you have to deal with this caliber of players, we expect that you come in with some sort of for want of words, some sort of boldness in managing these talents and dexterity in being able to know how to deploy, you know, their various potentialities where it is needed in the attack. Well, he says that we do not have anything to worry about in attack. Perhaps in midfield, we might need to think one or two things, and in the defense line as well. Well, we're actually wishing Coach Finidi George all the very best in his adventure as coach of the Super Eagles. Some people would express doubts that, come on, look, the last time that we had a local coach in charge of the Super Eagles, we failed to qualify for the World Cup in Qatar. But then again, we have also had lots of foreign coaches who failed to get us qualification for major tournaments. So let's exhibit, or rather let's express a little bit of optimism and rally behind Finidi George to deliver the goods in his stint as Super Eagles coach. Personally wishing him all the best, and collectively as a nation, we are hoping that I mean, he would even do better than the last time we had a coach who a lot of Nigerians were happy with, talking about Stephen Keshi, God bless his soul. Hopefully he will be able to even do better than Stephen Keshi. Well, away from the Super Eagles and Finidi George, let's move on now to what transpired yesterday, talking about the English Premier League, where Aston Villa was in action against Liverpool. It was actually it was full of drama, and very quickly let's bring you the sound and the sights from the Villa Park, and I will be right back with more stories from the sporting arena.
Closed down. He's Elliott scampering forward for Liverpool. He's got Salah outside of him. Here he is, lays it back towards Elliott by the byline. Sends a cross in there. Took a deflection, and Martinez. Oh, it's gone in! He took a deflection. It was a cross, and the deflection beat Martinez at the near post. 1 minute, 7 seconds.
For Paris Saint-Germain. The France captain last week confirmed that he will leave PSG at the end of the campaign when his contract expires, with Real Madrid expected to be his next destination. Well, he did score in a shock 3-1 loss against Toulouse over the weekend. That goal took him to 27 for the season in Ligue 1, 8 goals more than the next marksman, talking about Lille's Canadian striker Jonathan David. Well, the season is not finished yet, with Mbappe's PSG having 2 more Ligue 1 games to play this week before the French Cup final against Lyon on the 25th of May. And so it's a big congratulations to him. Talking about Kylian Mbappe winning the award for France Player of the Year for the 5th time in a row. Absolutely phenomenal player there. Well, we here talking about transfers and speculation that France all-time top scorer Olivier Giroud is expected to sign for Los Angeles FC, where his former Le Bleu teammate Hugo Lloris already plays after 3 years with Serie A giants AC Milan. He says, "I will be playing my final 2 matches with Milan and will continue my career in the MLS." Well, Giroud signed for Milan from Chelsea in the summer of 2021 and won the Serie A title in his first season with the 7-time European champions. The 37-year-old World Cup winner and, of course, a Champions League winner. He won the World Cup in 2018 and scored 48 goals in all competitions for Milan, including 16 this season ahead of Euro 2024 in Germany. Well, he will wave goodbye to Milan fans at the San Siro in their final match of the season against Salernitana in a fortnight. And so I expect to see the big man Olivier Giroud applying his trade for Los Angeles FC in the Major League Soccer in the US come next season. Well, let's round off this morning with news emanating from tennis as Dani Medvedev continued his Rome title defense yesterday with a hard-fought 7-6, 2-6, 7-5 win over qualifier Hamad Medvedev as the men's tournament was left wide open by big name exits, the latest being 4th seed Andrei Rublev. Well, Russian Dani Medvedev will face Tommy Paul in the last 16 at the Foro Italico today after battling past next generation.
All right, welcome back. It's still Rapid on. Hope you had a great time on Eastern Circle right there and all of the amazing songs that we've been playing for you. And we are back to give you all of the training conversations from different platforms, basically from the Bird platform. Okay, now it's no longer Bird, it's now the X. To Instagram, to the training conversations on Facebook, and all around. We'll just give you bit and bit and bit of all of these conversations. Why are you nodding your head like that?
Just thinking which of the stories we should start with. It's basically lots of unfolding drama everywhere.
Okay, so I think it's good we start with the story of the senator that donated pots to his constituency.
Clay pots.
Clay pots, yes. So you don't think it's ceramic or those expensive pots. Clay pots. He donated 5,000 clay pots to his constituency. Now this is it. Okay, so he donated clay pots, and then he also donated
white fabric.
White fabrics, and I mean, so let's have the write-up where it was talking about it. And so this is a constituency project of Senator Rufai Sani Hanga, senator representing Kano Central. Now, instead of building hospitals, he distributed 5,000 pots and white clothes for the burial of the people of his senatorial district. I really don't know how I feel about this, but then there was a follow-up, and so he came out to give an explanation as to why he donated clay pots to his constituency. So he said, so the Nigerian senator representing Kano Central Senatorial District, Rufai Hanga, explained why he donated 2,000 clay pots and 10,500 yards of white clothes to the Muslim graveyards in his constituency. And he went further to say that he was reacting to the criticism, and he said he's a deputy minority chief whip, don't forget, of the 10th Senate, and a member of the new Nigeria People's Party. He said the donation was not part of his constituency project as widely reported. And in his first news conference since his election in 2023, Hanga said that such a gesture was not new. He said he was something he had been doing even before his election. He added that it was a family legacy he grew up seeing and inheriting, which he hopes to continue throughout his life. And he also said that we made a donation to Kano State Committee for Graveyards, headed by the Dagom Riba Kano and district head of Torani local government area. We had found out that clay pots were lacking in most of our graveyards and decided to donate. Okay, so I think he has I mean, contrary to how people made it look before, I think he has a pretty good reason. Family legacy, it wasn't really about the constituency as widely reported. It was more of something that he has been doing before he became the senator representing. So I do think that he has except you share a different thought on that, but then I think he's coming out to give his reasons as to why he did that. Shows that he went to meet the needs of these people, not as a constituency project, but as something that he has been doing before, and it's what they've been lacking. So find a void and fill it.
The question now is, why give it this much publicity? Was it deliberate to make this public, or was it a case where, you know, a couple of blogs or maybe somebody in a bid to get at him decided to put it out and set him up for drags and a lot of negative comments online? Yes, you might want to say there's nothing wrong with
he's a public figure, don't forget that, and weird things like this will attract attention.
But he's been doing it, according to the reports,
he wasn't a very public figure.
Well, I know lots of public figures that take on humanitarian or philanthropic gestures. Some of them are politicians, some are businessmen, you know, others have different things that they do. Now, there are people who live that kind of life where there's a percentage of their earnings that go to the poor or that solve a particular need in the society. Now, some of them, most of them, are modest to the point that unless somebody comes out to tell you, you would never know that there's a certain politician in your community that is paying for the school fees of over 50 people. We have people like that, and most of the time they don't need to be public about it, and these are still public figures. These are still people who occupy positions of note. Yeah, so the argument that, oh, he's a public figure, this is not exactly something, I mean, you're not exactly contributing to the development, as it were, infrastructural development, of your community.
I would quote you there. Development is it's just that we have streamlined development in our Nigerian context to mean building roads, building schools, and the likes. Right now, these people complained about something. This is what they want. They don't have clay pots, enough clay pots in their graveyards and all of that. They don't have this, they don't have that.
Okay,
let's is something that this, like he stated in his response. This is something that his family have been doing. So I would not say that it is not development. I mean, for these people in question, it's a new development. It wasn't there. Now somebody came and gave them 10,500 white material and gave them this. So it is something that they didn't have before. Now they have it. So
like he said, that his family has been in the tradition of doing things like
exactly.
How has that affected the community infrastructurally or development?
No, 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 no.
You also want to, okay, let's even imagine.
This brings us back to what we're talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
Where you say, what is the message of the movie? No, sometimes you don't look for a message in everything. It's just like what is happening to B Lord now, the guy from what's his name, Anambra, the crypto guy, and he mentioned that he's embarking on a project which is to build the biggest church in his community. And some persons were saying, oh, why instead of building this one, creating jobs, doing this, you're going to build a big church, the biggest church in your community. And I remember having that conversation with someone on Facebook, and we went back and forth, and I made him understand one thing. From where you stand, you might think that, oh, the church is not a development. The church is not going to create. I mean, don't forget that in that building of that church, employment to be created. The guys who are going to labor to build that church, that is a job for them. Now, the people who are going to work in that church, that is a job for them. So, however you see, and the people who are going to worship in that church, they are going to be appreciative to be Lord for giving them that, for building that church for them. So from where you stand, it may not look like a development, but it is a development. So that's the same way it is. You might think that this man giving them this, what they call it?
The clay
pots. And they need it. Should they go and start begging for clay pots every time they want to do something? No. But will it stop him from doing other constituency projects? No. So what are we talking about here?
But do you know that he could also make the life of his constituents comfortable enough to the point that nobody has to beg for clay pots?
I don't understand. So when people go to the grave house, people should bring their clay pots from their houses?
To the point that people can afford it without needing some sort of angel intervention or for somebody to donate it. You donate things that people cannot afford. It's like when you're giving up during the COVID, for instance, food was scarce, so there was need to make donations. There was need to give out palliatives, and you know, people who are benevolent, who are philanthropic, who are kind, sometimes in expressing their kindness, in reaching out to the society, yes, I know it's your money. I know you are the one who is doing it, but there's nothing wrong with you listening to the voice of reason to actually find out, oh, what do the people actually need? Because you cannot tell me that Senator Rufai,
what do people actually need? And these people that you're talking about, did they tell you that they don't need a clay pot?
What did
they tell you? Don't forget, Ugochukwu.
Have we talked about education?
Oh my God!
What about feeding?
Really?
What about infrastructure? How many people in that community have jobs?
These are the issues.
Wait,
no. Let me finish. These are the issues.
How far has he gone in addressing these concerns?
No.
Before addressing this other one that yes, I agree, it is also important. But in the scale of things, how would you juxtapose a donation of pots to, let's say, the building
Is it really effective? Was it really effective? Because we are still back to no food. Just 2 weeks ago, there was a survey that said that about only 15% of Nigerians are actually feeding well. So if that is not a that is not a very good percentage. 15%.
Okay, right now I'm wondering if I'm in that 15%. You know how we used to do the equation when we were in school? Sometimes you go 0, 1, 1. Sometimes you go 1, 0, 1. Sometimes you go 0, 0, 1. Yeah. And unfortunately, we're back to those times for most people. I cannot count the number of times I had to, while trying to answer questions regarding, how can we improve on agriculture in Nigeria. Lots of times it came up in examinations and, I would write, government should try to bring up policies like Operation Feed the Nation that was established in 1976. Like, we had to reference that a lot of times, and in the last 2 or 3 days, we've not really seen anything in like fashion. We've not seen somewhat of intensity in terms of development of agricultural programs, agricultural policies that includes everyone. But then again, is it a conversation that needs to be had? Absolutely. Is it something that should form a major part of government's agenda? Yes. But what we find is that there's a lot of conversation around the petroleum sector. There's a lot of conversation around electioneering as the campaigns draw, whenever the campaigns draw there, and eventually when any of the presidents get into power, I mean, there's a lot of focus on oil. While we have a very arable land, we have a very fertile land, we have lots of things that we can produce and earn from. I mean, a lot of things that we can produce, feed ourselves, and make money from by exporting this product. But because, you know, the right policies are not in place, we've had a conversation on this show regarding food security, you know, because the right policies are not in place, the right things are not done. People who have been taxed with, you know, handling things like this are not doing it the way that it should be done. I mean, the results are what we have glaring us in the face: high cost of food prices, shortage of these food commodities in some parts, and I mean a whole lot of issues actually, you know, that's affecting us as a nation.
Oh yes, and whether we like it or not, these problems are still in our faces, and we either deal with it or it deals with us. But we just pray that we're able to deal with this situation and get out of it very soon.
It's so terrible because immediately after the show, Cynthia would say, "Oh, I want to have rice and plantain." It's so bad that I mean, before you could get some of the basic things that people could afford with ease, sometimes you go to get these things and the vendors tell you it's not in the market. You have the money, and of course what that now means is that the few ones that are available will be sold at very high prices, and it's really getting us nowhere.
It is not, and in everything they do, they should just keep having plantain in the market.
So how many stems of plantain have you planted?
I should be asking you.
So you see,
I heard you have a yam bank.
These are the things.
What things exactly?
Everyone should contribute. Everyone should be part of the drive to achieve a sustainable level of food security, you know, in our different levels.
Profound.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, all right, so let's now move on to something that we saw where the speaker was talking about marry your friend. Okay, so the Speaker of the House of Representatives has advised Nigerian youth to get married, and not just get married, but they should get married to their friends to avoid marital troubles. I was like, okay. Some persons were like, okay, what's the connection between this and this? Mr. Speaker, can you focus on the issues of
your legislative duties
of national importance? But then again, it was an interesting you know, I think that he gave this advice in Abuja during the launching of a book, you know, and he talked about, you know, he talked about himself a bit, you know, and he talked about the book, and he said once you are married to your friend, you won't have much problems. You can overcome any any problem once you allow friendship and the love of God to take precedence in your marriage. And that was what he said. He was the chairman of the occasion as well. Okay, so the thing now is, every weekend we hear people say, I married my best friend. But how well does that go? I mean, you marry your best friend and then in 1 year after, it's no longer your best friend. I mean, the dynamics are, how do we put it now? It's I'm not going to say that I do not agree with our wonderful honorable right there on that. It's good to get married to your friends. I mean, but then it leaves the question of, every weekend people are getting married to their friends. You hardly see a person who make a post of their wedding and say, I married my enemy. No, they always say, I married my best friend, I married my friend. But
I mean, with the
way things are,
with the rate of separation, the rate of divorce cases out there in the courts, the rate of marital scandals that we have, and you know, most of the time,
with the rate of those who are suffering and smiling.
Yeah, that was what I want to say.
Is that
people
really marrying
do a
your
good
friend?
job at covering things like this up. I mean, you only find out the ones that Linda Ikeji or Instablog have, you know, bring out to the public, and it cuts across board. Celebrities, people who are public figures, maybe even your next door neighbor. Yes, they could be having some really serious issues, you know, but because they married their friend, you know, they cannot come out again to come and start telling you how their friend, you know, has been dealing with them, and they've been suffering abuse, they've been suffering disrespect, they've been suffering neglect, they've been suffering all kinds of things at the hands of the supposed friends.
Best friend.
Well, of course, we're not going to say marry your enemy, but what it simply means is, that is also not to negate the fact that we have lots of people who have married their friends and who are having beautiful marriages, who are absolutely enjoying marriage.
Yes.
But then again, the realities of the marriage union, I think, is best left for people who are in it to explain.
Like they always say, you go explain, tire. No evidence.
I mean, someone who hasn't really experienced some of the things that married couples have had to deal with, I mean, there's no amount of grammar that can surface.
I think you can tell a bit from your parents. You could start from there.
Oh, yeah.
Except you were not attentive. You could tell a bit from your parents. I mean, in as much as some people say, oh, parents do a good job in trying to cover up, but that it just means that you were looking at the surface alone. If you're really looking at your parents, you would be able to tell.
So you know how we focus on the wrong
sometimes.
things, and we take lessons from not so perfect examples. You're watching the movie, they make it look like you wake up in the morning, you give her a lovely kiss, love you, darling.
No, there are families who are enjoying that.
But does that happen every day? No. Do you get? The movies make it look like, oh, this is what it's all about, the razzle dazzle, the butterflies in the belly. Oh, there's money flowing and everybody's happy and we're also brother.
But why is it that you see a movie where people are having chaos, couples are having drama, and you're like, ha, if that's so marriage be now, wow. And then you watch another movie where everybody the couples are smiling and happy, and then you're now saying that is not how it is. Come on, then what then do you want?
Okay.
What then do you want?
You have to create your own story. Let me put it like that. But the truth of the matter is that it's not easy having to, live with someone else, and this is something that has to be lifelong. You don't do it for 3 months and say you're not interested again. It's for better, for worse, till the end of time, hopefully. You understand? I think it was Viola Davis who was in an interview, and it said you haven't been able to discover if the person that you married is your soulmate or whatever it is that they call it, you want to call it, until you look that person and you want to kill them, but somehow you find a way to control yourself. And not just controlling yourself, you find a way to resolve whatever it is and continue in that union. You get to the point where someone gets so much to you that you literally want to end their lives. But
then it depends.
Yeah.
Let's not make it look like you are going through domestic abuse and then you remain.
If you ever get to that point,
we're talking about normal.
Yes.
Normal human behavior.
Habitual and behavioral
normal
patterns.
Human behaviors. Exactly, not the abnormal ones.
It could get really annoying to that point. So just try to find your own beautiful story.
All right, so as we get set to wrap up this morning, we would want to share an update. It is quite on a sad note, though. If you remember last week, we did talk about the death of the Brick Hall School, the 4-year-old boy, Miguel. Sadly, he was laid to rest on Friday morning. Unfortunately, when the invite came, it was quite late. But then the family have been having meetings with the school. Don't forget that we did give you a story about how the police were in front of the gate of the school and they were harassing these people who were protesting to ask questions as to how this little boy died, trying to demand for the CCTV cameras and the like. So they did have a meeting. So according to the mother, they did have a meeting, and then she sent this audio to let the media and every concerned person know as to what were the conclusions. And when I listened to the audio, the first thing I asked was, are you satisfied with this resolution? That was the first thing I asked. But I am still bothered by the fact that in this particular matter, we didn't see the minister coming, just as she came in during the Lead British School bully. I mean, this is a case of a boy who's lost his life here, and we've not seen so much attention. Is this about a class thing, or what exactly is it is? But then she shared this audio, and so let's just listen to the audio, and then when we come back, we'll just touch a bit on it and then we'll wrap up for this morning. that was from the mother of Miguel, the 4-year-old boy who lost his life at the Brick Hall School. It's when I got unfortunately I got the message quite late, the voice note quite late that Friday morning. The burial was that very morning, so I got it quite late. But like I said, I had to ask if she was okay with this resolution. Some might want to say, I mean, you can't bring the boy back. And if the school is saying that, I mean, if the autopsy, not just the school now, is saying that he choked, it's so sad that we just have to leave the case like that. It's just sad. It's just sad. What the school is offering to do, the training of these children, scholarship, it cannot bring the life back. But I think the mother has just resolved to that fate, and like, I can't bring my boy back, so what can I do? Let them just be however they can, and it's a sad one. And
I think they will now need to take lessons from this in terms of paying more attention to the children, and making sure they are basically more attentive, you know, both for the academic upbringing of the child, and basically everything. When as a parent I bring my kid to your school, I'm committing that child to your care. So I expect that, you know, the school should do everything in their part to make sure that, you know, the boy is safe, the boy is secure and trained in whatever it is, for whatever class that he's been admitted for. So I'm sure the school will also take their lessons from this.
Yeah, well, we are yet to see the public apology, because like she said, the first thing was they're going to offer a public apology. I haven't seen the public apology on the page of the school. I am right in front of the school's page. I have not seen the public apology. The last time it was posted was the press release, which was 6 days ago, and the farewell given by the school. And as at this moment, the school has, you know, blocked all comments on their page, so you can't even express yourself. You can't say anything on their page. Even after the boy died, it was just business as usual for them. They were posting other content until when the agitation started again, they had to post a press release explaining. And now, for a school that prides itself as having all the necessary facilities and guidance and caregivers, yet such negligence happened. I mean, like our people will say, God knows best. But we can't, like they say, we can't cry more than the bereaved. So may God rest his soul, and may God give the family. I know that the mother is just trying to be strong, but she will really miss her son. And that's just how we're going to wrap up the show this morning. I'm sure you've had a great time, and we've kept to our word to keep you updated on the school happenings, and I'm sure you enjoyed yourself from 7 till this time. We do hope that you come stay with us tomorrow, Wednesday again, which will be our Word Wednesday, and you never can tell what we'll have for you. My name is Cynthia Agbo. Don't forget that you can follow us on all of our social media platforms, and you can visit our website on
www.arabianradiotv.com. Buchukwu Madmer is my name. Adios.